Hey, Shalom, Shalom. Before I get this lesson started, I'm going to give all praise and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem Yashai, by Hashem Kakadash, and double honors to the elders and the apostles of the great millstone, of whom I learned from, and Shalom to the hope of elect, taking this truth to the four corners of the earth, bidding the elect spirits of Yasharala to the marriage supper of the Lamb. This is your, who is Yahweh Shai? This is your brother Adah. Just a real quick one, observing the Edomites, the so-called white people, forensically breaking the situation down and showing that they have the capacity to know right from wrong on some level, yet they speak loftily concerning oppression. So what does that mean? Edomites are not under oppression because they are currently in rulership, right? But we are under oppression because we are currently in punishment. We are in what's called the affliction of Zion. Let me get that precept. I believe it's Psalm 73. The wicked, or they speak loftily concerning oppression. And how you break that down is they speak proud when you point out their tactics. So we know Look, they are corrupt and speak wickedly. Salakia. They speak wickedly concerning oppression. They speak loftily. Okay, look, so let's go back up to the top. This entire prophecy, this precept, I believe it's by Asaph, Hebrew Israelite, the brother Asaph, in the tabernacle of King David, Dawodah, is writing by the Spirit of Yahweh, by Shemir Shah. Okay, look, Psalm of Asaph. Truly power is good to Israel, even to such as are of a clean heart. But as for me, my feet were almost gone, my steps had well slipped nigh. For I was envious at the foolish when I saw the prosperity of the wicked. So we understand this is going in to Esau, Edom. This is talking about them in their rulership. Malachi chapter 1, verses 3 and 4 describe Esau, Edom as being the border of wickedness. Job 9:24 says the earth is given into the hands of the wicked, and he covers the faces of the judges. That goes into your iconoclasm, your whitewashing of everything in history. The reason why the world thinks that the Yahweh Shai, whom the world ignorantly calls Jesus a so-called white man, is because that is the group of people who whitewashed his image. There's no such thing as a Japanese or Chinese Jesus, right? There's no such thing as an Arab Jesus. Why? Because they're not the wicked. They're the heathen, right? And they have committed trespasses against us, but they're not the wicked. So right here we see this is about the wicked. So go down to verse 8. They are corrupt and speak wickedly concerning oppression. So this means they would not point out the things they've done to us. And when the things they've done to us, the Hebrew Israelites, who they've renamed blacks, Latinos, Native Americans, when the things they've done to us are pointed out, right, they cover over it. But you see now these Edomites going in. Now all of a sudden, everyone's a forensic fucking, psychologist, and they're able to break down what happened to the so-called white woman.
Y'all don't let people
and they're saying right, but this is what we've been going through. Where was all this shit with the 12-year-old that got shot in the park? Where was all this with the so-called fat black Jake that got choked out for selling cigarettes? Where was any of this forensic evidence when it was constantly being brought out on us? Exactly, because they speak loftily, they speak wickedly concerning oppression. But with their own people, look what they're doing.
Pervert justice. This video's for anybody trying to y'all don't let people pervert justice. This video's for anybody trying to pervert justice and say this isn't exactly what it looks like, that it's some case of self-defense. I'm going to break down the film footage on both angles. We're going to slow it down. We're going to look at the feet because they do not lie. This ICE officer was on the left side of that vehicle throughout the entire episode. As I slow this down, you're going to want to look at the feet. You're going to look at that tire. You're going to look at the feet. This is at the time that he made that first shot. You can see the glass is breaking. He shoots, and his feet are there to the left of that tire. There's no doubt with that video footage that he's to the left of the vehicle. Now, when you look at this other frame, this other video that's been put out there, it makes it look as if he was pushed back by the vehicle. But when you run them simultaneously, you are going to see that this guy was to the side of the vehicle. He was not in danger. And in fact, he slips on ice. And we're going to look.
So this video is not about whether or not that woman was murdered. We've covered these videos already. This is now pointing out the endless amount of so-called Edomites who are doing a great job at pointing out the wickedness of their own rulership. But why? Because a so-called white woman was shot. They've been doing the same shit. All the stratagem, all the knowledge, all the perfection of the weapon, of the sword of Esau that is applied to us, it hasn't changed. It's still the same playbook, but now it's starting to trickle over onto Edomites, and so now the Edomites are forced to open up, right? Their ability to rightfully, to prove some things that, better than what they've done with us. And I'm going to show you some videos that show it. Look, there's another one. I got another one in here. Hold on. Let me see. Right here. Trip this out. This is a good example. Now, these are Edomites exposing Edomites. Look what he does.
In real time, class. In fucking real time. So I'm assuming that you believe that the shooting was unjustified. Do you not? I don't. No, I think it was justified.
So he's for the murder of that lady, right? He's for you got to comply. Watch what this Edomite does. Watch what he does.
I'm going to play you something, and then I want you to tell me whether or not the use of force is justified. Are you ready? Go ahead. Great. Okay, so that was a guy driving into a line of police officers. Okay, do you think that they should have started shooting that guy? Yes, absolutely.
Okay, that was his yes or no question. A guy in a truck driving into a crowd of people. Should they have started shooting him? Yes. Watch what he does.
What if I told you that was a cop driving through a line of protesters? Well, are they in the middle of the road?
Now it switches. See how they instantaneous, his brain switched. Now the same scenario changes because of the type of person that's inside the truck. You guys got to see that shit. Now watch.
In real time, class. In fucking real time, you can watch their brains twist and contort and fucking pretzel themselves.
Cognitive dissonance. Now look at the fucking comments, right? Now remind you, this is a conversation and an example that they are doing amongst themselves because they see themselves in that white woman. So they have the ability to do this. But what you saw him do to this dude right here.
Okay, so that was sick. I'm going to play you.
I'm going to show him a guy driving through a crowd. That guy deserves to be shot. Then when he says, well, what if I told you that guy is a police officer and those are protesters? Then the guy switches his statement and says, or are they in the middle of the road? Which it just shows you how they move the goalpost.
Something, and then I want you to tell me whether or not the use of force is justified. Are you ready? Go ahead. Great. Okay, so that was a guy driving into a line of police officers. Okay, do you think that they should have started shooting that guy? Yes, absolutely. Okay, what if
So it was a guy driving into a line of police officers, they should have shot him. But when it's a police officer driving through a line of protesters, were the protesters in the middle of the road?
What if I told you that was a cop driving through a line of protesters? Well, are they in the middle of the road? In real time, class. In fucking real time, you can watch their brains twist.
And I'm showing you this because now we're going to take one more layer off of this and just put Jake and Edomites. Remove the police. Okay, now we're going to put Jacob and Esau. If an Edomite's in the truck and trying to if an Israelite is in the truck and it's Edomites, then he should be shot. If it's an Edomite in the truck and it's Israelites, then it's the Israelites' fault. You see how this is what they've been doing this entire. And this goes to here, verse 8. They are corrupt and speak wickedly concerning oppression. They speak loftily. You should comply. It was your fault. You shouldn't have ran. You should have reached for your phone more slower. It's always Jacob's fault when Esau is being wicked with his sword. Right? But when it's switched around, then all of a sudden, now that they're going through it, right? Now they have the ability to do this with each other, but they weren't doing this for us when it's always, they don't do this when it's us. So this is all being brought out. So this is another, so look, at first it looks cool. Yeah, cool. So-called white people, they're getting it. Let me show you a video. They're getting it, right? This
is no shade.
This is what she's pointing out. But no, they're not. Listen.
But I think a lot of you guys are just now discovering empathy for black people.
Like somehow, like they're finally changing. It's 2025. What does that mean? Since after Yahweh's death, 2025 years have gone by on the planet. And they're just now learning how to be like this? Get the fuck out of here, bro. That's not what this is about. And this is the problem with people not understanding prophecy. This is the problem with people not understanding biblical descriptions for nationality and characteristics. This is the problem with people not understanding the precepted biblical classifications for humanity. Because Esau is the only nation on planet Earth classified as the wicked. But people don't understand that. And Jacob is the only nation classified as the righteous, and the other 16 nations are classified as the heathen.
And I'm not saying that you haven't cared, but I think you've had sympathy. I think you have
They haven't.
felt bad, but I don't think you have been able to fully put yourself in the shoes of the black experience and relate. And you still can't. You won't ever be able to. But I'm watching the comments come through about Renee Good, and so many non-black Americans saying, oh my God, like, we can't do anything. We're not safe doing anything. She didn't do anything, and that could have been any of us. I look at that video and I can't stop crying because it just like reminds me of my family. That could have been me. And how do you think black Americans feel?
Because Edomites are not in their oppression, they're in their rulership. And Jacob is in his oppression when the affliction of Zion came to an end. Look, we are in our affliction. When the affliction of Zion came to an end. Let me see. Awesome. This is one of them. 2 Ezra 6:19. And will begin to make inquisition. That's what's happening now. That's what this is. Inquisition is a judicial inquiry. Yahweh's got his eyes, his angels, reporting everything that the Edomites are doing, all the epistles that we're raising up, these digital epistles. And I will begin to make inquisition. This is 2 Ezra 6:19. And I will begin to make inquisition of them, what they be that have hurt unjustly with their unrighteousness, talking about the Edomites, and us being the objects of that, and when the affliction of Zion shall be fulfilled. What is this? Let's go to another one. There's another one. Let me see. The affliction came to an end. Let me see if to an end. There should be another precept. Okay, I'm not pulling it up. Here, Lamentations. Let's get Salakia. Lamentations. This is another one. So look, Lamentations 4:21-22. This shows you something. Okay, look. Lamentations 4:21. You can line this up with 2 Ezra 6. Rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom. These are the people who are under Inquisition right now. That dwelleth in the land of Uz, that's America. The cup also shall pass through you. What's the cup? The affliction, slavery, oppression, being on the bottom. The cup, that's a measurement of judgment. That's a serving of judgment, a portion. The cup also shall pass through unto thee. Thou shalt be drunken. Why is it written like that? Because it's coming from another place where it's been passed. The cup shall also pass unto thee. What does that mean? Also means somebody else had to drink that fucking cup. That's us. We've been drinking that cup. Thou shalt be drunken and shalt make thyself naked. Look at this. The nation that was drinking the cup doesn't have to drink it anymore. Lamentations 4:22. The punishment of thine iniquity is accomplished, O daughter of Zion. It's a completely different race of people right here. Another nation. He will no more carry thee into captivity. That's a part of the cup. They speak loftily concerning oppression. That's what captivity is. He will visit thine iniquity, O daughter of Edom. He will discover thy sins. So as the cup is being finished, as we are finishing drinking the cup and we are coming out of our prison, Esau is beginning to drink his cup and he's about to go into his prison. That is what we are seeing. We are seeing the inability to correctly, righteously judge with balance come out of these people. We are seeing the wicked hypocrisy of these people intelligently break down the evilness of their own people when it's concerning them, with hints of them mentioning us, but they never did this when it was us. So even though this looks good that they're doing all this guy...
Y'all, don't let people pervert justice.
This guy...
She's reversing her card. He's drawing.
See how awesome they're doing a great job, but where was this at for us? Which further proves even these people are wicked. They are worthy of the cup that's coming because they're going to drink that shit. Right?
All right, friends, get your attention span.
Another guy breaking it down.
The former neighbors of Jonathan Ross say that within hours...
Here's the psychology.
Listen to this bitch. Listen. She does, this girl, she looks great. She does a phenomenal job of going into the psychological on a carnal level, like Wisdom of Solomon 2 does for us spiritually, showing us how Esau writes his laws wickedly. Listen to this girl, man. I'd like to have her as a concubine. I'm not gonna lie, she looks good. Listen to her break this down, but where was this at for us with these same people? Because only Yahushua can purchase us out of this. He's our only salvation. So this is why we got to look at these people through the lens of the scriptures and not give them more credit than credit is due. I'm giving her credit for breaking it down, but this is not righteous. This is carnal. This is also hypocritical. We needed them to do this, right? When we were crying out, hey, you guys are kind of, your foot's on our neck. No, you should have listened. You should have complied. Look at them now. Look at all these Edomites now breaking down how wicked their people are.
That should chill you. Here's the psychology that should chill you. The ICE agent released his own footage because he genuinely thought it cleared him. In his moral framework, dominance equals innocence. Watch the video. A sarcastic comment is made and he calmly switches the phone to his other hand to free his gun hand. That's not panic. That's preparation, and the timing matters. The escalation comes immediately after a sarcastic remark, which points to ego threat and dominance injury, not fear driving the response. In use of force psychology, that's intentional escalation. Renee tries to de-escalate. She says, I'm not mad at you, dude. He shoots her 3 times in the face, 2 times from the side. Then calls her a slur, and afterwards they lie to the crowd's face, claiming paramedics are there when they're not. That's not chaos. That's narrative control. Here's why that video makes him look more guilty to normal people, but less guilty to his supporters. People aren't just interpreting the video differently. They're emotionally defending the act because their worldview requires violence to be righteous when authority is threatened.
Social psychology research shows that people with authoritarian cognitive styles tend to treat perceived challenges to authority not as evidence to evaluate, but as existential threats to defend emotionally.
And who would have that kind of a mindset? The person who's in rulership. And who's in rulership? The Edomites. Who is in oppression? Who is in captivity? The Hebrew Israelites.
Authoritarian brains don't ask, was this justified? They ask, was authority challenged? Once the answer is yes, violence feels righteous. Violence against perceived lower status others isn't a defensive necessity. It's a reaffirmation of rank and control.
And understanding who's in rulership and why is required to have understanding. In order to understand this correctly, you have to understand who the nation is that is in rulership on the earth according to biblical prophecy. This deception that we are all together, we're in this together, is a lie. This deception that everyone in America is an American citizen and everybody has equal rights is a fucking lie. Because you don't understand that the scriptures in prophecy calls America Mystery Babylon, and Babylon means confusion. And it is confusing to have multiple different races claiming to be all one under one citizenship when the Edomites are in fact in control of the earth, with the head tribe being Amalek, who are claiming wickedly, which is called the controversy of Zion, to be the chosen people by calling themselves the Jews, when in fact the southern kingdom of Judah are who the Jews are, and those are your so-called blacks in America. It is absolutely necessary to understand prophecy, to understand correctly the scriptures the way they were written, and the only people teaching this truth are the elders and the apostles of the great millstone and the men who follow that doctrine. Outside of that, everything is darkness.
His life wasn't threatened. His authority was. That's why he released the footage. In that worldview, punishment is proof of being right. When power defines truth, evidence doesn't matter. Obedience does.
See how she did an excellent carnal job. She's void of understanding of the scriptures. She doesn't understand prophecy. She doesn't understand nationality biblically. But she broke that down carnally very good.
In real time, class.
And as a result of everything she's saying here, this is why the dude that this guy's challenging did what he did. But this doesn't absolve or free this dude on the screen because he can point it out like that. All he's also being used is to what? To show their hypocrisy. You guys have all been enjoying your rulership. And now that the same tactics of your rulership that's been applied, right, to Jacob, to the house of Jacob, now it's beginning to break out onto you guys, because the cup, prophecy says it's time for you guys to drink the cup. Right here, Lamentations 4:21, rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom. That is specific to this entire nation from top to bottom. It's not just talking about the elites. It's talking about the guy on the fucking screen too, his ass. He's an Edomite. Rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom, that dwellest in the land of Uz. The cup also shall pass through unto thee. Because ultimately, Yahweh, Tazabawath, Yahweh of hosts, Alashajah, the father of our most beloved elder brother, Yahushai, our king, our very near future king, who will reign on the throne of Malak Dawadah, King David, on the earth throughout the whole universe. He is the sovereign power that reigns in the kingdoms of men. That's in Daniel. Okay, so the Most High is doing this through his right and left hand. This is what's happening, man. Thou shalt be drunken. What happens when you drink something? You become under the influence of that. They're going to become under the influence of judgment, of captivity. Okay? And what's going to happen to us? Verse 22 says, the punishment. So as they are crumbling, as they are losing everything, the elect is being made white, making themselves ready as virgins, and being set in order before their eyes by the Spirit of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, and being prepared to rule with Yahushai, the star that will rise out of Jacob. Esau is the end of the world. Jacob is the beginning of the world that followeth. The punishment of thine iniquity is accomplished. It's over by the blood of Yahushai. O daughter of Zion, he will no more carry thee into captivity. They will no longer have power over us, you guys. He's going to break their yoke off of our neck by the anointing. He will visit thine iniquity, O daughter of Edom. They will finally get judged for every fucking thing they've done. Even this hypocrisy we're seeing.
Built in.
This is a judgment on them. They're being shown for being the hypocrites that they are. Look.
This is no shade, but I think a lot of you guys are just now discovering empathy for black people.
Again, in 2025, and that's not even what it's about. We don't want their fucking empathy. Yes, at times it's like, motherfucker, listen to what I'm saying. You get it, but bro, they can't get it because they're the wicked. And so they have to finish their course that's been written out for them by the Most High, as well as they have to drink the cup that has been written out for them by the Most High. They're gonna have a violent end, you guys, and it's just. We got to see this shit.
And I'm not saying that you haven't cared, but I think you've had sympathy. I think you have felt bad, but I don't think you have been able to fully put yourself in the shoes of the black experience and relate.
So I have this friend
Look at this, and look at the comments, man.
who's been a police officer for decades. And I remembered him telling me once this story about him being run over by a suspect. So I texted him the other day. I haven't talked to this guy in a while, and I don't know what his politics are, but I texted him and I was like, hey, can you refresh me on what that story was? And do you have any thoughts on this thing in Minnesota, if you've seen it? And I want to read you what he texted me back. He said, it was early morning and I was dispatched to check on a suspicious person sitting in a vehicle. It was later determined the individual I encountered was attempting to kill his estranged wife and was parked across the street from where he believed she would be showing up to work. Upon arriving on scene, I approached the driver's window. He was parked at an angle facing a curb on a parkway adjacent to a busy multi-lane roadway. After making initial contact with him, I determined his license plate did not check to the name he had given me, nor to the vehicle it was affixed on. While I was standing behind the vehicle, talking to the dispatcher, I had observed a rifle laying next to him on the top of the center console, running into the back seat. At this point, I reapproached the driver's door, and I asked him to step out of the vehicle. He immediately, without warning, started his car and backed out of the parking spot, catching me under his front wheel while I was attempting to pull him through the driver's window. Once I was on the ground, I drew my weapon as I was now approximately 15 feet in front of his vehicle after he backed out. The suspect made eye contact with me as he shifted into drive and turned his wheels to the left. I could have shot him. However, I clearly saw he was turning his wheels away from me and attempting to flee and not trying to run me over again, so I did not fire.
And I guarantee you that fucking suspect was an Edomite. Look at the fucking comments. 70, and remember, they are doing all of this under the vibration of the dead so-called white woman. Again, I'm going to say it. They are doing all of this under the vibration, energized by the vibration of this dead, murdered, so-called white lady they saw on TV. All of this is coming out. So they're speaking from inside of their kingdom, which people ignorantly call privilege. It's called rulership in the scriptures, because the rules never applied to so-called white people the way they did to us. America is called the land of our captivity in the 2nd chapter of Baruch. Okay, let's get it. In the land of their captivity, they shall remember themselves in the land. That's what it's called. You can't say this to an Edomite about America. They will fucking get mad. What do you mean? You don't like it? You can go somewhere else. Why? Because it's not captivity to them. It's Disneyland to them. This is a fucking vacation to them. Or it has been up until just recently. It's been a fucking nightmare for us. And we haven't been able to explain this to them this whole time. And now, because their shit, Lamentations 4:21 and 22 is beginning to happen to them, we think, oh, see, you understand. It's not about them fucking understanding. It's as bad as I hate saying that, because it's something in me. Sometimes I want to hear you get it, bro. It's not about them getting it. They can't get it. They won't get it. Because even if they get it, somehow in our fucked upness, we would allow them, oh, see, you understand me now. It's not about these motherfuckers understanding us. It's about us paying the price and the punishment for the adulteries that we committed against Yahweh Yahweh Shai, confessing our transgressions for what we did under the sun, passing the holy seed through the fires of Molech. We were murdering our own children in human sacrifice. We polluted the land of Yasharallah, you guys, with these adulterous practices. We answered Yahweh's prophets with pride. We were arrogant in our responses to not repent. Imperious. We were like imperious, whorish women, man. And he put this judgment on us, which is it's bitter. He says it's cruel in Jeremiah 30. I have wounded you with the wounds of a cruel enemy. But if we're able to read that precept and understand it, that's the beginning of closure. That's the beginning of healing. He's mollifying our wounds and praise him because he's allowed you to see the understanding of that. Baruch chapter 2, verse 30. For I knew that they would not hear me, because it is a stiff-necked people, but in the land of their captivities they shall remember themselves. And we're going to think upon his name too. And I shall know, and shall know that I am the Lord their God, for I will give them an heart and ears to hear. He's going to supernaturally activate you. And they shall praise me in the land of their captivity and think upon my name. He says it twice. This place is not our rest. America is not our home. These people are not our people. Their ways are not our fucking ways, man. Even when they are breaking down the hypocrisies of their
Everyone needs to see this.
This is no shame.
So I have this friend.
of their own fucking people, they're still being hypocrites because we never got any of this during the entire time we were here. And this is not about them finally you notice me. Get the fuck out of here, bro. It's not about them noticing us because now they're going through it. It's us to realize, you mean it took all this time and now this shit's happening to you just a little bit. And now, and bro, they're not even mentioning us. They're just talking about themselves. Look at the fucking, the comments. Remember, they are talking about themselves. Who's the subject matter? That white bitch that died. 75% of the people see the video and conclude she was murdered because she was, but right, 25% of the people are incapable. Who are those people? It's all Edomites. Rational assessments based on observations. Even if shot one is defensive, which I don't believe it was, shot 2 and 3 were execution shots. Okay, look at all this shit. Look at this guy. Retired law enforcement officer with 15 years experience teaching defensive tactics and use of force. This is murder. Trying to explain this to my stepdad is in corrections is nausea. So this is Edomites going through this with other Edomites, right? You have Edomites showing compassion because they see themselves in that white woman, and then but that's the only reason why. And then you got Edomites who are still rigid on the reality of white rulership, right? And you must comply no matter what the fuck. Because when it comes down to white Edomite men and Edomite women, who wins? Edomite men, right? They only use their women to oppress us, meaning they'll put, we gotta defend our women from the niggers, right? They do that shit. But when push comes to shove, they don't give a fuck about their women. They marry transgenders at the highest parts of their rulership. They have mastered the inversion of turning boys into women and women into boys. And then they want to tell Jake how to fucking deal with his woman when they don't even deal with women at the top of their rulership. The whole shit is fucking evil and hypocritical. But look, I noticed this. I was like, you know what? This ain't about that fucking chick dying. This is to show the hypocrisy of these people. Look at all these very intelligently broke down comments, breaking down the wickedness of the kingdom. And again, what is this going to? Isaiah 19. I will set the Egyptian against the Egyptian, Kingdom against kingdom, brother shall fight against his own brother. This is what's happening to them. They're under the power of prophecy. They cannot change what's happening. And it can't happen any sooner, man. So I pray that this lesson is edifying. I pray that you guys see the point I'm trying to make on this. The joy of the hypocrite is but for a moment. Let me see. My son is in training to be a law enforcement officer, and he just learned about this exact scenario. He agrees this was murder. Okay, so look. So they train you in their classes to not shoot. Yet have they been applying this level of training to our people? Fuck no. The level of training they're talking about is for their people. This is why when you see cops, Edomite cops, dealing with an Edomite man that has a gun, they're talking to him, they're calling him by name, they're telling him to think about his wife. Don't do it, please. Think about your wife, right? And then when they see a Jake who just takes off running, they pop his ass in the back. So fuck these people, bro, and let them fucking self-implode, let them devour themselves. Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Yahweh Tazabawath, Shalak Yahweh Shai, Shalak the Mayaka Allah, Wa the Allahayim, to Shalak Rayam, Wa Abadjam, Wa Haragim, Wa Mashapatyam, Al Cow Adawamyam, Wa Gawamyam, Wa Yabyam Nawa, Baba Kasha, Baba Kasha, Baba Kasha, the water Yahweh Bashim Yashai, Aman, and Abad Babal on these motherfuckers. I pray that this lesson was edifying. I want to give all praise and glory to Yahweh Bashim Yashai, Bashim Kardashian, double honors to the elders and the apostles, the great millstone. It's your brother Adah. Shalom.